rtconline.com. Perfect. You would get you would get the ability to be able to do this through the title rep. So Old Republic has one, Fidelity has one, I'm sure Placer has one. So the reps are I don't know who their Placer rep is these days, but it's Pamela is the like Vacaville area and northern.
There's a Christie lady.
Northern Solano, and then Kathy Fetters does the Southern Solano area for Old Republic, and then Christy might be
Sicily.
And then Ben Cox does Fidelity, so he's usually at our meetings. So Pamela and Ben are usually at our meetings. That says a lot to me, just so you guys know. So if you guys are looking for title companies and looking for support, those are probably my top two, because they're here all the time. They're ready, willing, and able to help us and support us and meet with us, and they make themselves available. So those are my favorite people. And that's who I highly recommend is one of those two. So there you go. All right, so here, right, you could select city or zip. So you could do lots of different farms on here, right? But Heather was trying to draw a polygon, right? Circle polygon, which allows you to select specific neighborhoods. And we're gonna,
whoops, that's another problem.
That was a little much there.
Whoa. Don't worry. All right. Well, Europe, US. Whoa, where are you?
I'm, you know, I don't know where I am right now.
Same thing. You have to back out and start over.
All right. No, that's all right. We'll get this. Oh, here.
They use the same format as Fidelity.
Yeah, everybody uses the same thing.
It's the same.
Hold on, we're gonna start all over
it's
here.
Just who you go with. You can use whatever you want.
We're going to try to use more self-control this time.
Got you. So obviously that bottom search or something.
All right, let's try this again. Why won't it let me do that?
You have to do it.
All right, you were at Browns Valley area?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, you Cheyenne area?
No, not Cheyenne. Is that Cheyenne?
Well,
that Hillcrest, like Berrywood?
If you punch in your, can you punch in your address and let it take you there?
I see who it's done. Hold on. Hold on. All right, there we go. We'll come back and fix it in a minute.
Our amateur strategies application.
I feel like I'm missing something. Why is it shaded?
This top part?
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe you might have to back out and if you punch in a property, just a nearby property address, and the panel pop up.
That's what.
That's what we're trying to do, but it's grayed out. She's saying. Oh, there we go. Now clear pin. All right. Okay, there we go.
All right, give me an address in there.
612 Hillcrest.
I can get there eventually. Okay, we still want.
Oh, okay. That's not. Oh,
we're gonna get there. Okay. Go like this now. Boom. All right.
Okay, there. Okay, so it's excluding all this right here.
All right.
So, yep. I even included over there by my house and mansion.
That's New York.
All right, so see,
it's gonna come up. You know how when you take your car in and it's having problems?
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't hear nothing. This is on me right now.
All right, so we see how we just drew a little box by clicking, so it pinned that area for us, right? And then we're gonna hit next. Nate's helping me through this.
I'm her assistant.
You're that little bird that mimics.
All right,
my best friend.
So, and those are definitely houses, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so here you can limit. So if you wanted to limit your property characteristics, I'm not even going to limit that. I'm just going to take that. Yeah, it was pulling everything, but we're just going to go like that, and we're going to hit get count.
Looks like what I did.
And then we're going to hit download view records.
But the count didn't come up. Where did the count?
It's 129.
I got these people from my old job living here, so I'm about to get them up. Okay, what is it? Oh, there it goes.
There it goes. All right. What street is that?
That one.
Oh, there we go.
That,
Oh, see, look.
oh,
All right. Are
See?
these aren't newer homes, right?
no. This is Hillcrest Circle, and then this is Hillcrest. Oh, no. This is what's number 94? Canyon Oak Court. This is Canyon Oak Court.
So there's a glitch in the system.
Okay, I'm just glad it's you too.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah,
think
look,
there
there's
is.
my dentist. I'm about to hit my dentist right there.
There
That
really
lady
is,
I know.
because
I know all these
it
people.
really is.
That's my
Because
neighborhood.
So see how it does this and it numbers them so you can see which
Yes.
house belongs to what. And then here's our list, right?
Yep.
So as you guys do this, so you guys can get free access to this to be able to do this if you haven't done it yet. Dynamic stats. We like to just click on buttons, right? 60-month look back. It's thinking, it's fetching all the details for us. It's going to tell us what the average bedrooms and bathroom in your count is in square footage. The turnover rate. So this turnover rate's really important if you're trying to decide on a farm area that you're just like randomly looking at, because that's how often those houses sell.
What, 7% you said?
No, usually you want somewhere in the 4 to 6 range, but it also depends on how many houses you're selecting. And sometimes if there's a really low turnover rate, it could mean that those houses are getting ready to sell, right? So if you've got a whole neighborhood, especially when you start looking at newer neighborhoods, like, if they all sold 4 or 5 years ago, you probably haven't had a lot of sales in that neighborhood in those 4 or 5 years. So your turnover rate's going to be low, but now we're getting up on a frame where probably those people are going to start selling. So everyone's going to say it's all based on turnover rate. And I'm going to tell you that it's not all based on turnover rate, that you've got to take all the factors into account when looking at it, because it can vary. Okay. This one has, it's a 4.65% turnover rate and a 4.65 non-owner occupied rate. So therefore, like 5% of them are rentals. Average price.
7 rentals. I can't have them. Yeah. Which is crazy.
So, right, average square footage, high, low. So it's got all that in it, number of homes. So these are all just the stats, and you can look at loans by month, sales by month. So see, it's been pretty static in that area for since 2017, right? All right, you can print that. You can save this farm so you can pull it up later. It's got the little thing here. Oops. Sorry, it's dangerous in here.
That's what I'm saying.
No, we're gonna work on it tomorrow.
Okay.
If you want to,
Get our business card over.
if you
Ain't retired. No.
No, I'll put our card on it. I'm just the delivery person.
if you want other reports like a profile with comps, other reports, detailed view, comparable view, net sheet, right? So phone, email, lookup. You've got some options there if you click on the little thing. And then you could like save the farm, or you could send the data, right? So you can email the data.
You know, I got a question about it, right?
So
Can you, sorry.
Go ahead.
Can you, so like say if that was a good number for a good count for, right? Can you export it? Will it export on an Excel format already?
Right there, export CVS format is
So save it to a document, and then I can upload it to the template that I created.
You can export to mailing labels. Title company will print mailing labels for you. You can save 25 cents a page by having the title company print them, and they'll hand deliver them like they did for Nate this morning. You can get reports. You can do a walking farm. So you have a list as you go to walk that. So you can make notes on it as you go. That's kind of handy. You also know who you're talking to and whether it's a renter or the owner occupied when you show up on their doorstep. So that's kind of fun. So you've got lots of options there under the export.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
I got lost. So I have a couple forms, but I wanted to go from the owner to the tenant, and I couldn't go back. I had to exit all the way out and then go back to the farm and start over again and put in tenant. Is there a way that you can switch from who we're looking at here to another?
So this is the, it won't, I don't know that it'll
It
ever,
says off right here,
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it won't show you, because this is all pulling tax records.
Mhm.
So it's only gonna ever show you on this, the owner's name, not the tenant's name, because they have, there's no way to know who the tenant is
Yeah.
on the property, but you can like sort. So if you exported this to a CSV file, then you could sort by owner occupied versus non-owner occupied.
Mhm.
So that if you wanted to send letters to the non-owner occupied houses, you could just pull those.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me be a little more clear. So I had the owners, I wanted the mailing address to the actual physical address. So how do I switch back and forth? Because I have the mailing address of the owner, but I wanted to go back and get the actual physical house address without having to go all the way back out to come back in. Did I explain that? If not, let me
So
start
if
all
you,
over again. I'm confused my day.
All right.
So
so
Oh,
if
I
we
got you.
export all right to a CSV file,
I never do that.
go. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. Oh, here, it's downloading here.
Just keep down.
I was like, this is like just giving me the same thing over and over and over again.
I know.
That's how my
Oh,
life
I do
works.
that.
I do that all the
I do
time.
that
Just open
too.
any one of them, Amy. It's okay.
Because you know I'm not computer savvy. So
All right. So
struggle.
here, right? So here we have all the stats for all these properties. When you export it, you get a lot more than what you see on the screen, right? Like it's got all this stuff. So what I would do is if I was trying to do both, I'm going to go through. So from here, hold on, I got to shrink my screen just a little bit. We're going to go organize.
You know when you are afraid to
click stuff.
We're going to sort the entire table and we're going to sort it by owner occupied.
Okay.
Right? So now what's happened is it's sorted our properties. Hold on. I'm just trying to find the little column. Oh, it's probably yes or no. No. All right. Hold on. Somewhere here. Alien City.
Well, you got to go to, you have to go.
Right there.
You go to.
Okay. So here's owner occupied, right? No, yes. So all these that are non-owner occupied, what I would do here is I would go like this and I would click this line and hit control. I would add a row below. And I'm just going to repeat this ad. I'm going to put like tenant occupied or to current owner and the mailing address. I'm going to copy the property address so that there's a label for this one too.
So you would add a column to that.
So see, this was non-owner occupied. So I just added a column right below it, right? And then for like owner's name, we put to current. And then over here, you can put whatever you want there. And then over here where it says mailing address.
So you're going to give these to title to print is what she's saying.
Yes.
No.
So you
no, I've been printing them on the actual envelope because I learned
mail merge.
Halfway learned how to do that, but she got to clean that for me.
All right. So see, so now when I went to print this, if I was using the mailing address, it's going to print to current resident as the person and then with that same address. So I'm sending one to the seller, right? One to the owner of the property at Westmore and one to the property, which would be to the tenant at Bald Eagle.
Okay, so show me again how you went to the line.
So you go to the line, you just click on the like number 4.
Okay.
You can probably, if I hit this, so if you just click the little down arrow,
Oh,
you can do it. Otherwise, I right clicked on it. So I command clicked or control clicked and just put add row below, which added a row.
Okay.
You see why over there it's not the same as over there.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
It's in the wrong order.
And then she's pulling the address, the physical address from the left side. And putting
Copy and pasting that, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you taking it from the line above though, right?
I'm taking it from the line above.
You're bringing it down.
Yep.
Bringing it all the way over under current resident.
So any of those that aren't owner occupied that's not going to that address, this one, see, so you may want to double check because this one says it's owner occupied, but the mailing address is Danville.
Mhm.
So I'm probably going to scroll through the rest of these. And even if they say they're owner occupied, I'm going to add a line here and add the property address,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? Same thing here. So just because they're owner occupied, you may want to sort by city. It might be more accurate to sort by city. So instead of here, I sorted by owner occupied, I can just come over here and go sort by mailing city. And now Vacaville is going to all be at the bottom, and all the ones that aren't Vacaville are going to be at the top. And that's not complete because now some of these owner occupied ones may be in Vacaville. They have two properties. Like this one's got a Robin Court email address, even though I know that it's probably a Bald Eagle address. So you may want to sort it both ways.
Okay.
You're just going to look for inconsistencies to add in those properties. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
It does. It
Okay.
does. Now, when I put it to
Work.
Mhm.
Call us.
Yeah, we'll help you again. So yeah, and you can go in there and delete, like we don't need the parcel numbers. So we can highlight those. And then if you, on your Mac, it's a control click is the right click. Oh, it took the whole table. Hold on. Click the little down arrow. Delete selective columns. So we can get rid of the stuff we don't want on here. Like we don't need the longitude and latitude, right? So we can go in here and clean up this spreadsheet as much as you want so that it's usable and functional. Because I don't need to scroll for 20 minutes to get to the end. I don't even know what this is.
All right. Then you.
Yeah. Delinquent taxes. Like I don't really care about that, right? Census tract, tax rate area, zoning code, like I don't know, right? So we can just get rid of stuff we don't want. I don't need a legal description. So there's lots of things you can go in there and get rid of. Yeah, there's like
after you hit export, so like because I'm kind of using the same thing. That next step is what? When after I hit export, because I want to get that
hit export CVS export farm.
Very, very top.
very
highlighted.
Down, 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 farm.
No.
Okay.
Yep. Because it's asking what format you want to export. Okay, is everybody on Zoom tracking with me?
No, I am not.
Who is that?
It's Anastasia. Sorry, I was late jumping on. I have the baby. Husband went back to work today, so I'm here with the monster by myself.
Oh, so
what are you guys
not tracking with how to edit the CVS file, or were you not tracking with why we had a CVS file at all?
Yeah, the CVS file. I have
Rewatch recording.
How to edit it, or why we had it.
You know what? I'll just watch the recording.
Okay. All right. I'm sure we'll cover this again.
I don't want to hold you guys up.
Okay, that's fine.
We're all gonna watch it again.
So if you're not familiar, I'm really good with spreadsheets. Like my love would be just creating spreadsheets all day long and making them pretty and fancy and you know, linking data from one to the next and having.
I need to do that too.
Yeah, it's all that's my jam.
That's your jam.
Lock me in a room and give me spreadsheets. Okay. Sorry, I don't. But don't ask me to put this stuff in the spreadsheet. Just I'll make the spreadsheet for you. Yeah, don't ask me to put the stuff in there because when it comes to data entry, that's okay.
So what you do to add? I'm trying to figure it out. Never mind. I think I got it. To add a line, you went to the line.
You right click on it. It should work even on a PC on the right click. And it should say add row below. Doesn't matter which program you're in. And so if you have a PC, you know, whatever, it's opened in a CSV file. So on my computer, I have a Mac. So it opened in Numbers. You can import that CVS file into Google, your Google Drive, and you can open it in Google Sheets.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to learn that one.
And Google Sheets and Numbers and Excel, they all work very similar. There's a couple little nuances between them. Excel is the most functional. Numbers is probably as functional as Excel, but I don't mess with Numbers very often because by the time I switched to the Mac, I started using the Google Suite. So I don't use Numbers very often, but I think Numbers is pretty close to Excel.
So you use Google Suite?
The Google Sheets, yeah.
I mean, Google Sheets
Uh-huh.
instead of numbers. Okay.
Yeah, I do. Just because I don't like saving stuff on my computer. I like it to be in my drive so that no matter where I'm at or what computer I'm on or what I've got open, I can access anything.
Oh,
And I can access it from my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm curious though here, if I go to Save Farm, we're going to call this Heather's Farm. Maybe. And hit save. Fabulous. Yeah, it said 129. I've got some on the other side of the street.
Oh, okay.
My lines were sloppy.
Oh, you got my house.
Yeah, I want to be able to come knock on your door.
Where's her farm? She can knock on her own door.
I
Ring
can,
your own doorbell.
so I can go in here to
today.
farming and go saved farms. This is my question. Okay, so here, so it's got any of my saved farms are here. So once you save a farm, so once you pick one that you like, you can save it, and then it's always going to be in here, so you can pull it up at any time and go back into it. My curiosity was, and it's probably not
go to the app.
That's a bummer.
To the Google.
Nope, it does not go to the app.
It doesn't go to the, so Old Republic Title has an app that's fabulous and amazing. And it does the same thing. This is why I do it on my phone, right? So it does it on your phone, but when you pull up the farm on your phone, like if you were going to go walk this farm, number one, you could draw the walk order. And so if you're like, well, I'm going to go this way and then each of those courts and then come back along the bottom side of Canyon Oak, I can draw that in there. And then it'll put the houses in that order for me. And then as you go and knock on each door, you can mark whether they were home, whether nobody answered, whether they hate you, whether the property's for sale, and you can make notes, and then you can export that with all those notes and everything in there. And you can do that straight from the app. So it's pretty handy that way. So I was hoping that maybe if you saved it here, it would transfer over, but it doesn't.
You have to redo it. Yeah, she's like, oh, it's a bummer. I'm like,
yeah, that's why I do them on my phone.
Yeah.
So anyways, so you can get, again, this is Old Republic. Fidelity has one very similar. So if you want access to this, just ask Pamela or Ben for access to their website, and they'll set you up with a username and password. If you want the apps, you'll set an appointment with them. They'll set you up with all the apps as well. So I don't know that Ben has a walking farm app with Fidelity. Last time I checked, they did not have the same functionality as the Old Republic one does. But it's all right. You can cheat on each other. And
yeah,
it's all right.
I do. I cheat on both of them.
Yeah. So it's all right. And just so you know, like, and my theory is, like, I've asked Ben for a few different farms because that's who I get my list for my golden letters. And I always tell him, like, hey, if one of these turns into a transaction, I'll give it to you, right? So I'm fair in how I run and work my business. And if I'm getting information for somebody, I'm going to give them the business from that.
That's a good idea. I was just going to ask that. How do you bounce?
I thought that was kind of a given. I only figured, I said, Ben's helped me out so much.
Yeah.
He's the only person I think about when it comes to title.
That's his goal, to be the only person you think about.
I know.
Look at that.
He wants to be your first
not
love.
like that, but hey, it is definitely working. Ben is a good guy.
Ben is a great guy. So Ben and Pamela both, I love them both. They both spend a ton of time in our office. They're willing to help, go out of your way, do whatever you need. They're both phenomenal.
I can remember first meeting when I first got my real estate license, and I was at the Solano Association, and I was just like, this guy he's on, but he's just like,
he's crazy.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
And we were talking, and
it's genuine.
Like, it is.
That's how he is all
like,
the time. We ran into him at Journey.
Like,
He's there all the time.
Nate, I
know his kids.
Like,
yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, so that's how you can set up a farm and look and see what the turnover rate is. Again, just to reiterate, everyone's going to say, hey, don't select one with a low turnover rate. And I agree and I don't agree. Number one, it depends on the size. So your normal farm should be, when they're talking like turnover rate, like a group of 400 houses, right? So when we start talking a turnover rate, that's really what they're looking at. When you're looking at only 100 houses, your turnover rate's just going to be lower. Your stats are lower, right? Like it's just less houses, less turnover rates. So just kind of keep that in mind. And again, especially like this one, like Heather lives in this area, so it's convenient to her. She's more likely to service it. She probably knows people in this farm already. So it's a really good selection for her to choose. And there's growth opportunity, right? As she's consistently servicing these 100 homes, and she can add another 100 like 6 months down the road. She can earn the right to start working with more houses as her budget grows and her time grows and she has closed transactions. And so that's what I'd be looking for. The reason they say turnover rate, right, is if you've got 100 houses and the turnover rate's 5%, then, you know, that means there's going to be what 5% of 100 is 5 sales, right? And there's assuming you're going to get 20% of that business. So out of 100 houses with a 5% turnover rate, you're going to get 1 house. Is that going to make it worthwhile for your first farm for your first year? Absolutely, right? If you can get 1 transaction out of 100 houses, then that's going to make your time, energy, and effort worth it, and you're going to end up growing from that number. So that's why, and then like I said, sometimes turnover rate, like if you've got houses that you know, everybody moved in 5 years ago, they're all getting, if the turnover rate's low, it could potentially be getting ready to get really high, right? Because it seems to be a domino effect. Everybody kind of, the statistics are accurate. So if they're like 5 to 7 years in a house, then we're getting ready to hit that number now, and in a neighborhood where that's where the most of the sales were. So
my farm is very low too, but they're all 2-story homes, and they have out of, I think it's like 146, 70 of them are empty nesters. So they're ready.
They're ready to find those single stories. Or
I'm ready to
you know what too, something to keep in mind too with that is that just remember Prop 19 with the property taxes, right? It used to be only that you could move once you turn 55, like you could move within certain counties and keep your property tax basis the same. And I'll explain what that means here in a minute. But now last year they passed a new law. So you can move anywhere in the state of California and keep your property tax basis. And most people don't realize this, or even realize like people will stay in a 2-story home, even though they can't do the stairs anymore, because they're like, I won't be able to afford the property taxes if I move. Like I moved here when it was brand new and I paid $30,000 for this house. Like there's no way, like property taxes would be more than my whole income, right? Well, with the new property tax law that goes into place, what happens is if you can sell that house for, let's say $700,000, and you buy another house that's $700,000 or less, whatever you're paying for property taxes is going to transfer to the new house minus the assessments. Okay, so keep that in mind.
55 and older?
For 55 and older.
Only 55 and older.
Yeah, only 55 and older.
Not for us.
I'm
Not
trying
for
to have
you.
clarity. No,
For 55 and older.
4 years. Speak for yourself.
So if your property, like Solano County property taxes are 1% of the assessed value, right, at the time of purchase, and then they increase a little bit each year. So they go up just a little bit each year, plus the assessments. So if you had somebody that was moving from Browns Valley to the new homes off Vanden, their base property tax rate is going to stay the same, but those assessments are $3,000 versus $200. So the property taxes are going to go up based on the assessments. The assessments are what the assessments are. So you always want to look at what those supplemental assessments are, because those are going to add to that property tax rate, but they'll transfer their base property tax rate. So if they were moving from like Canyon Oak Drive in a 2-story over to Leisure Town, they would keep the same property taxes moving over there to a single story in Leisure Town.
And they can do this anywhere in the US now, you're saying?
No, California.
Or anywhere in California.
Anywhere in California.
Could,
and it would be 1%. So, and that goes up to whatever they sell their house for. Okay, so that works, that transfer works for the same or less. So if they bought a house that was less, it could potentially bring their less than what their current assessed value is, it could potentially actually bring their property taxes down. So if they went from a house that was now assessed because they've lived there forever at $400,000 and they're moving to, well, even Leisure Town, most of those are $400,000, so it won't matter. But anyways, if they buy a house that's more expensive, the property tax basis will transfer for that first, if they sold it for $700,000, it'll transfer for that first $700,000, and then they'll pay the current rate for the amount over that. So if they
prorated like a percentage,
it'd be a percentage. So if they moved from Canyon Oak Drive that was currently assessed at $300,000 out to the country, and they sold this house for $700,000, they bought country property for $1 million, they'll pay the 1% tax rate for the first $700,000 based on that $300,000 assessment value. Okay, up to that 700, and then let's say they have another 300,000, they'll pay 1% of that additional 300,000. So their new assessed value, if their old assessed value is 300,000, they sold it for 700, they bought a property for $1 million, their new assessed value is going to be based on 600,000.
Oh, okay, because mine is the, okay.
Right, so it'll be 300 for the first 700, and then the additional 300 on top of that. Okay, and remember our assessed value when you move into a property, your property taxes are generally based on the sales price. And I say generally because if you buy a house below market value, there's a solid potential that the assessor is going to come in and actually assess it at market value. So if you're doing a transfer, if I'm like, hey, friend Heather, I'm going to sell you my property for a discount because I feel sorry for you and I just want you in a house and I want to get out of here, and like it'll be a win-win, like quick transaction. I won't have to worry about putting it on the market or real estate fees or whatever. So I'm going to give it to you like 50,000 below market value. The tax assessor may come back and say, I know you purchased it for 500, it's really worth 550, and that's what they're going to do your new property taxes based on. So just be aware of that.
Okay. And then that happens and the whole neighborhood hates you.
Oh, because it drives the tax up for everybody.
No, it drives the value down.
It doesn't, because it doesn't end up being put on the MLS. So it doesn't count as a comp. It's an arm length transaction. Okay, does that make sense to everybody about the property taxes?
You could, I guess you could. You could give someone, you could like sell someone a house dirt cheap. You say without real estate tax, without real estate fees. What made you say that?
What made me say that?
Yeah, like
if friend Amy was selling it to friend Heather and we didn't want to involve anybody, so I was like, hey, I'll give it to you below market value. That's what I was saying.
Gotcha, but I'm saying giving it to her below, but you said no real estate fee, like as if you're saying if we were realtors doing that, or you just some
average Joes.
Average Joes
can
you
do
that.
Have to hire
without a realtor.
You don't have to.
Got you. So be first sale by owner.
Right.
Gotcha. Sorry about that.
Hey, lady.
Yep.
Okay.
Everybody's all dressed up today.
You didn't get the memo? You got the memo.
You got the shirt on.
He said come in.
That's what you should be wearing.
Or because we don't have
Amy,
face
yeah,
I got a shirt from family reunion. I never got a shirt.
It's right there.
Where?
If you paid for family reunion, your shirt's right there.
Oh, nice. Nice. Who got Burberry on it?
Oh, Lord.
All right. Any questions from our Zoom people? Why are you sorry?
Okay, man.
No, you're fine.
I don't have a question about that, but I do have a question about the MLS.
You're gonna take us a whole other direction now?
Only if you let me.
All right, Mila, where you want to take us?
Come on, Mila.
Can we look up vacant land on the MLS?
Yeah. Like vacant land that's for sale, or
yes.
Okay, yeah.
Or yeah. You know how sometimes some neighborhoods have a multitude of houses and then they have that one piece that somebody wants to buy.
All right. So yeah, so there's a couple of options for that. Number one, we can go back to our Old Republic page, right? Let's go back to ortconline.com.
Oh, good. For a minute, probably.
Okay, so I'm just going back to the original login for ortconline.com. And then I'm going, instead of going to the OR Pro Farm, I wonder if this OR Touch, well, anyways, we'll come back to that. All right, so we're going to go to the Title Pro 247. Okay, and we probably could have done it from that other window, but this one's easier. So let's say that you are looking at lots in town and you've got house, vacant lot, house, and that person's like, I want to build a house on that one, right? You could be like, oh yeah, perfect. Let's look it up. So the easiest way to do it is to get the neighbor's address, because that property probably has an address, but you may not be able to track down what it is because it's just empty lot. So let's say that it's, I don't know.
There's one on Buckeye that's empty.
On Buckeye? Buckeye. It's in Vacaville. So I just left Solano County in there. We're going to see how many properties it pulls up. I just put the street. I didn't even put an address. I just put a street. It pops up weird locations, just so you know. All right, here we go. Oh, Vallejo. So we want to go Buckeye Street here in Vacaville. So we're going to come up to Vacaville. I'm going to hide this for a minute. And we're going to zoom in. Heather's promised me that there's a vacant lot here. We've got 15 minutes. We're good.
On the corner. Between two houses.
I don't. I just have.
She says dreams.
I always have dreams,
Mhm.
but I have a potential buyer who's looking for vacant.
City lot.
Mhm.
All right. So had I, that's interesting that it pulled up those, but not those, huh? All right. So is it on this corner? What corner is it near? We don't know what just happened. It sounded like somebody fell off a stool.
Whoa.
Buckeye and what?
Buckeye and Orchard.
Buckeye and
North
Orchard. This
Orchard?
Yeah, right here. This.
Oh, that's not on Buckeye, but that's right. All right.
But
So
it's near it.
so here-
But there's one right in there.
I think
too,
that one has a house.
But there's one right in there.
All right.
somewhere, too.
So here is the vacant lot. So we found based on an address, you can plug in a specific address or street, you're going to get that same area. And then if we just click on it, now it's going to tell us who owns
I
that
was
land.
just about to ask how you find out if it's
Right.
like city
And then if
owned
you set
or-
as subject property, and now,
How do you know if that's land that can be developed or if it's for housing?
you would need to check with the city.
Okay.
So if it's in the city limits, they could check with the city building department, planning and building department. And if it was in the county, you'd check with the county. So this is a commercial vacant land. It's zoned for commercial office. So by clicking on that, we get all the details on that lot.
Because I was looking at that lot like, but,
Yeah.
you know.
So that's the easiest way to pull the
Okay.
details for it. There is a way, if you go into berries and you go to map search, and you can pull up the tax records that way. So you could click on that and get some details, but this is probably the fastest and most complete way.
Okay. Okay. That's easy. Because you're on berries, you're saying that interactive map. Yeah, we were fighting yesterday.
I
Yeah.
don't like that. I
Yeah.
still just do standard
He
search.
was.
Oh,
Well, because sometimes I'll have to go back and find like your video on how you showed me how to, or how you showed us how to do it. And I'm like,
I used
you want to
Oh,
just pick up
but
the
you
phone and
can't-
call Amy.
you should just pick up the phone and call me. That's why I'm here.
You're probably out on a horse.
No, probably not. So anyways, so you can just click and you can look up any property this way,
Okay.
right? So
Uh-huh.
I click on any of them and get the details on that property, whether it's vacant or whether it's got a house on it,
Mhm.
or a commercial building.
Okay. I've looked
Right,
up
so-
homes that way.
Like that one's a commercial
But you
building.
can't just search for just vacant land.
On this one, you cannot.
Oh.
On the other site that we were at, so if we go back into the OR Pro Farm, I believe you can absolutely search for vacant land. So you could come in here and you could go. So I might be like, hey, I want Vacaville.
I'm thinking like Whitecroft too. They have a lot of vacant flats.
There are lots.
Buy a vacant property. They're actually.
All right, we're gonna enter city, county, zip here, city. We want it to be Vacaville. And hold on, let's go residential properties. Premier data queries, you probably have to pay for these. You could also,
5 cents.
here we go.
And I gave you the wrong price. I bought a phone number yesterday. They're 12 cents.
They're 12
It's still cheaper than a stamp, but
So-
it's 12 cents for a
Vacant.
telephone number.
So in here, I just hit the Premier data and in the property type, typed in vacant residential.
Mhm.
And then
Oh, for the premium. data.
So
Okay.
I'm in Vacaville, the city of Vacaville for vacant residential. And I'm gonna hit get count.
Oh, where'd you put that? You just type that in?
Yep. And then I'm gonna download view records because I didn't actually select any of these things up here, so I don't.
Oh, they don't charge you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And you could probably, it's probably got a place in here where you could limit like the lot size. So if I want lots under an acre,
Oh, okay.
right, which would probably,
Help you out
because
a little
yeah.
bit.
So let's edit search. Hold on, because it pulled country properties too.
Oh, yeah. Mhm. He's looking at Richmond, so he's seeing like vacant houses, vacant land
Right.
in between houses.
Yeah.
But I'll
You
have
can do
to-
this for Richmond for anywhere, right?
Yeah. I pulled up too. I'm proud of myself. I pulled up auctions for
Look at
him
you.
too in Richmond.
Auctions.
Auction houses that's up for auction. Mhm.
He did it on Berries and did.
Mhm.
Did you do
Through
like
interactive map.
land for Berries?
No, me and Land for Berries wasn't working.
I'm looking at it, I'm like.
They still be big selling high. They be.
Well, I seen some that starting auction number was like 250,000. That's good for the houses that's going for like 550, 600. And
But they eventually.
yeah, but maybe one day we'll go to an auction and
Let's
check it
go.
out.
You invite me.
Mhm.
Let's go.
Yeah, they have one, I think they're on Tuesdays. They have one today, as a matter of fact.
This is doing
Wednesday.
square footage, so we
Oh.
want less than 20,000 square feet,
Okay.
probably. You can look up the actual like size of acre.
Okay.
It may be closer to 40,000, actually. I think a half acre is 20,000, but. Right?
Wasn't that on the 10th?
Because on
Poor
country,
little
on
lady
country
going
property,
30
if you have an
and
acre, you can have 2 horses, and then you get a horse for every additional 20,000 square feet after that. So it ends up being like 2.5 horses per acre.
Wow.
We don't want to have.
That's
a
how they
horse.
do it. They.
That's how you
have to have so
determine.
much land for them.
That's how you
For each
determine.
additional.
So
So-
how many houses are as a family? They have, the most they have sometimes is like 24 horses.
They probably have
Jeez.
more than what is.
A lot, yeah. I don't
Maybe.
know how many. I know it's a lot. They have 2 houses.
So here's, right, so here's all the, and then they're all numbered, so you can see where those lots are, right?
Okay,
Right? So pretty
Mhm.
cool.
that is
Oh,
excellent.
that's cool, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good job. What the heck is that?
Sold in, it sold as a group. It looks like these probably all sold
Oh.
together.
Mhm.
Where's Cosmo?
Cosmos, the new, the 52.
No. Oh, it's probably like new builds or something. It's here by the 46.
I don't, it doesn't appear to be. No,
Off the map.
it's off the map.
Cosmos in Vacaville.
It has
New
no
York.
location. They're somewhere. Oh, it's maybe
It's probably.
I don't know
somewhere
where's that.
between Vacaville and Dixon. What's
Yeah.
that city? That's Elmira.
Elmira.
I didn't know they had so
All
many
right.
cities in back then,
So,
or so many
That's very little places.
Yeah.
yeah.
pockets.
Thanks.
All right. So helpful.
Very,
Very helpful.